How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Coinbase CEO says SEC wanted all assets except Bitcoin delisted. The US SEC reportedly requested Coinbase to stop trading all cryptocurrencies except Bitcoin before suing America's largest crypto exchange last month. They came back to us and they said, "We believe every asset other than Bitcoin is a security." And we said, "Well, how are you coming up with that conclusion? Because that's not our interpretation of the law." And they said, "We're not going to explain it to you. We just need you to delist every asset other than Bitcoin." So they pretty much said, "We have control over every asset. You need to delist it." SEC charges Hex founder Richard Hart with $1 billion unregistered securities offering. SEC has charged Richard Hart, the founder of the crypto project Hex, with allegedly conducting unregistered security offerings that raised more than $1 billion. The commission also included 3 unincorporated entities in the charges, named Pulse Chain, PulseX, and Hex. Hart and Pulse Chain are also both facing charges for allegedly using $12 million in the offering proceeds to buy luxury goods, including a 555-carat black diamond called the Enigma. Hart began marketing Hex in 2018, claiming it was the first high-yield blockchain certificate of deposit, and began promoting Hex tokens as an investment designed to make people rich, read the SEC's complaint. SEC has also taken a dim view of the staking feature that Hart claimed would deliver returns of 38%, and alleges that he deliberately attempted to evade securities laws by urging Hex investors to sacrifice crypto assets instead of investing them. Hart called on investors to buy crypto asset securities and offerings that he failed to register. Then he defrauded those investors by spending some of their crypto assets on exorbitant luxury goods, Eric Werner, director of the Fort Worth Regional Office, said. Ripple ruling rejected by federal judge. The U.S. District Judge Jed Rakoff, who is overseeing the SEC's case against Terraform Labs, has rejected an approach used in last month's ruling in the SEC's case against Ripple Labs. According to the summary of the verdict, coins sold directly to institutional investors were considered securities, while those sold through secondary markets to retail investors were not. However, this definition has been rejected by the ongoing Terraform Labs case. This now puts the Ripple ruling into question. Judge Rakoff is choosing not to differentiate cryptocurrencies based on how they are sold. In other words, he's saying that the method of sale shouldn't affect whether or not these coins are considered securities. What's important to note is that the decision doesn't overturn the Ripple ruling, so the Ripple ruling will still stand. However, Gary Gensler has openly hinted that he is going to appeal this ruling. If Rakoff's view is found persuasive by the court, and it could potentially bolster the SEC's argument against Ripple. However, it could also still be that the Ripple ruling will maintain even if Rakoff's decision is held up. So there is still the possibility, even if this goes through, that Ripple could be safe from this decision, but then this decision could possibly be used for other coins. So onto the charts. Over on the daily, we have a manipulation X bringing us down into our pattern again. We tried to break out of the pattern, but we were ultimately rejected by the pattern and our resistance. We're now halfway in this pattern, and we could see it move down toward the bottom of it. RSI is starting to curl away. Our stochastic is starting to fall away. Momentum's getting a red dot as our VWAP is breaking bearish. Our money flow is still struggling to establish some sort of trend for our altcoins. But right now it's looking a little more like we could get a little bit more of a slide and then hopefully a bounce back up and a break up. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we are trying to break back into this pattern. So tomorrow's going to be important. If we can break in and hold, that would be good for us. However, if we reject away tomorrow and start to fall away from here, then we could see this pattern play out. Our RSI is heading up, stochastic wants to run up, our money flow is recovering very strong, our VWAP is breaking in the bullish territory, and our momentum is getting higher lows with the green dot pushing us up. So we are looking pretty decent for a bit of a bounce here. Over on our Bitcoin futures, we're a little iffy for a bounce. We are still pushing slightly under away from this pattern. We have this long upper shadow candle that shows that buyers tried to push us up, but sellers suppressed us. RSI is kind of flat, stochastic's going kind of flat, kind of tight. Our stochastic looks like it wants to fall away as our VWAP is inching into the bearish territory. our money flow is rejecting away from neutral, and our momentum is getting a red dot. So those signals could bring us lower. Keep an eye out for that. Over on the daily, we are kind of still making this flag area, so might be safe to call it a flag now. Over on the daily, we're kind of just bouncing around in this zone here. Not the kind of a janky looking flag there. Not the biggest flag, so I'm not going to get you too big of a breakdown, but it could ultimately bring you back toward the bottom of this channel or toward the golden pocket area, kind of like I've been mentioning. RSI is starting to slide, stochastic's starting to push down. Money flow is in the bullish territory, so that's good for us, but if this money flow starts to waver with everything else, we could see a rejection here. Our VWAP is trying to push bullish. It's pretty flat, getting lower highs, so it is overall slightly starting to lose strength. Keep an eye on that, as if it loses strength, this momentum's going to lose strength as well, and then the momentum can come under from us. Oops. Over on the 4 hour, we have manipulation X's all over the place that want to bring us down, reversal arrows trying to invalidate them, so we're not really sure what we want to do, but overall we have this flag. Our stochastic is pushing down pretty hard, RSI is starting to push down, momentum's getting bearish divergences, that's pushing us lower. Our money flow has broken into the bearish territory here, so if the money flow maintains this bearish strength, we could see a further push down. If we do kind of curl up and push through, since we're not too strong in the bearish territory and it's struggling to go lower, we could maintain some bullish momentum and get a further push up and push away from this pattern. Our momentum is coming down, our VWAP does want to get a slight recovery, but our VWAP is in the bearish territory, bringing us down, and the other signals are looking a little iffy as well. Don't know why this got there. So overall, on the 2 hour, stochastic wants to make a bullish cross, RSI is starting to point down, our money flow is rejecting away from the neutral, so our money flow is gaining more bearish momentum and making newer lows, so our money flow is trending away. That's not too good for us. Our momentum wave wants to curl up, so our momentum wants to get a push up, but overall, if our VWAP doesn't break through that neutral, our momentum's not going to get a green dot, and it could likely push under. Over on the 1 hour, RSI is overall inching its way out, stochastic is starting to roll over and inching its way out, so we are setting up divergences that aren't really highlighting. Our money flow is rejecting away, momentum wants to come up, but our VWAP's about to break into the bearish territory, so if that happens, our momentum here could get a red dot, and that could weaken the momentum on our other time frames. Over on graph for the daily, we have a little bit of an indecision candle as we're coming down. RSI is kind of flat, stochastic's coming out, money flow is kind of flat, VWAP is in the bearish territory, pretty flat though, not very strong. So if we do get a strong green candle tomorrow, we could invalidate a push down and kind of round up from here, and that would be kind of intuitive with our pattern. Bring that back here, that way we don't have a random line, but that would be in confluence with our pattern here. If we do get some bit of a red push down and reject away from the pattern, just use caution. If the total starts to come out, that could happen to us, even though we have this bullish pattern here. Stochastic is pushing away, money flow is pushing away. Our momentum has a red dot and it's getting a little bit lower as our VWAP broke bearish. But again, if that VWAP pushes up, that could get invalidated. Over on the 4 hour, we have a red X that brought us down. We had a reversal arrow that wanted to push us up, didn't really go anywhere, then we got manipulation that brought us down. Stochastic's overall beat down and coming down. RSI is pretty much doing the same. VWAP is flipping back and forth, doesn't know if it wants to go bullish or bearish, neither does our momentum. We are in the bearish territory, but we are trying to get a little bit of push up, so if we do flip into the bullish territory, we could get a green dot and that momentum could get pushed higher. Our money flow overall is making lower lows though, so our bearish trend is getting a little deeper, and we are seeing that kind of head down. We are trying to get a retest, come back up toward this resistance around 6. So if we break through this, we could make a push through that neutral, and if we do that, we could try to push bullish. Over on the 2 hour here, we are kind of just not really getting much strong candles, no real patterns that I see. We might have like a double bottom that could try to push us up, but be very sloppy. Our RSI is kind of zigzagging around, stochastic zigzagging around. Money flow's gone pretty flat. VWAP is doing pretty much the same. Momentum is coming out with a red dot as our VWAP is trying to push lower, but our VWAP is attempting a retest, so that could give us a bullish push up. Overall, we're kind of indecisive here as we're getting real close to the tip of the pattern. Over on the 1 hour, we have manipulation X's that want to bring us down, so keep an eye out for that because that could give us a retest at the bottom. And then from there, we would want to see a bounce and a breakthrough through the top. Stochastic is trying to push up. We are rounding off. Real quick, if you haven't liked this video already, subscribe and visit the link for our Reaper Apparel Co. merch and join our Discord. No one's really joined yet. Want to do some giveaways and stuff, but we're going to need some people to join. Money flow is trying to go bullish. Momentum's trying to come up. Our VWAP is trying to head up. I'm not going to Richard Hart anyone, by the way. I'm not going to try and take your money and then promise you some massive returns. If I were to take your money, it would be for the Discord for future services, but I plan on doing kind of a community give back with those services with the money. I wouldn't be asking you to invest money to make money. But our momentum is trying to come up. Our money flow is trying to push bullish. VWAP is trying to come up, so the 1 hour is trying to get a push. That could help save us here. Over on the anchor, we are getting a little bit of a push down. After that bearish engulfing candle, not a very strong push. It's a doji candle, so we have indecision. Stochastic is getting a little bit of a push. RSI is pushing. Momentum has a red dot. Our VWAP's breaking in the bearish territory. Our money flow is heading up though, so even though everything else is kind of dumping down, our money flow is trying to run up. If our money flow can kind of sustain new highs, and we could invalidate this pattern. However, this pattern is at risk of bringing this down, and that would be more in line with the total market cap. Over on the 4 hour, we have manipulation X that brought us lower. RSI is trying to head up, but our stochastic's pretty beat down as a bearish divergence that brought that even lower. That could bring our price even lower too. Our money flow is struggling to maintain bullish momentum here, so if we do break bearish and hold, we could see a trend reversal, at which point this pattern could play, as this would be our third touch. Momentum's coming out. VWAP is trying to go in the bearish territory, but we are getting a bit of a retest to this resistance. So if that resistance doesn't manage to hold, we could fall away. Stochastic is trying to get a bullish push, so that wants to bring our RSI up, but that stochastic is going to need to break through the 30 to get bullish momentum. Over on the 2 hour, sorry about that, hit the wrong thing. RSI is running up. Stochastic's trying to kind of waver off. Our money flow overall is maintaining bullish momentum, but we are slightly inching our way out, so just keep an eye on that. If that continues, we could see a bearish break soon. VWAP is in the bullish territory, trying to push our momentum up, but struggling to gain some strength. The last couple times it kind of just rolled right back over. So watch out for that to happen as well, because if that does happen, we could get our push down. Over on the 1 hour, our stochastic is trying to push up, but it's starting to kind of bend off. We are getting a bullish divergence, so that does want to bring us up. We did get a slight push from it, so that could be played out, so just be wary of that. Our money flow is deep in the bearish territory and get kind of meeting this resistance area. If we push away from here, we could see further bearish action. If we break through here, we could see some bullish momentum. Momentum does want to come up with a double green dot, as our VWAP is running up very strong. So watch for this momentum to continue bullish momentum, and watch for the money flow to flip into the bullish territory. If those things happen, we could invalidate those patterns, but if that doesn't happen, this pattern is likely to play out. Over on XRP for the daily, with the news we have, we might end up getting a sell-off, so just a bit of a warning. We have a manipulation X that wants to bring us down from yesterday. RSI is starting to bend, stochastic's beat down, money flow's coming out. Our momentum's coming down, and our VWAP is starting to slightly inch away from that neutral, so our VWAP is slightly gaining more bearish traction. Over on the 4 hour, we had a little bit of a tweezer bottom, tweezer top form here. So this could end up pushing us lower if we're not careful, as this did, it's kind of messy. We went sideways. It could act as a top and push us lower. I would definitely wait for the next candle to see what kind of a direction we move. Our RSI is starting to roll. Our stochastic wants to roll. VWAP is getting toward that neutral and wants to break through. So if that VWAP breaks through, we could see a bearish push down. Momentum is starting to round out with that VWAP, so keep an eye on that. Money flow is overall inching its way out, so we do have a bearish trend, and it is getting deeper on the 4 hour. Over on the 2 hour, we have a manipulation X. So we have a bearish engulfing candle here on the 2 hour. 4 hour, not quite so much. We are trying to get push from it, so if we do get green candles from it, we could invalidate this being a rounding top. However, if we get red candles after the green candles, we could see a flush down. Stochastic's starting to bend pretty hard. Momentum has a red dot and is pushing. VWAP is pushing into the bearish territory. Our money flow is in the bearish territory and starting to reject away from the neutral, so we could be set for another swing down here. Over on the 1 hour, we have a manipulation X here that wants to bring us even lower. You can see it wicked way down, but sellers weren't able to keep it down, so that could be more of a long lower shadow candle where buyers might be able to help push us higher. We're going to have to keep an eye on the next few candles for sure to determine that, especially with the way the 1 hour looks right now. Our stochastic wants to make a roll up. RSI is going kind of flat. VWAP is heading toward that neutral, and our money flow wants to break bullish. If that VWAP can go bullish with that money flow, we could get a push up, and we could invalidate a break down from this pattern we had. Momentum is kind of rounding up as our VWAP wants to head up, so we're going to have to keep an eye on these 3 things. Over on Algo for the daily, we are getting a slight push up, nothing too crazy though. We're trying to retest our value area low. Stochastic wants to run up, RSI is trying to head up, VWAP is bending away from that neutral though, so keep an eye on that as that could bring our momentum down. Money flow's gone pretty flat, so the 1 hour is looking a little wishy-washy. We could form a bear flag here. Over on the 4 hour, that we do have like a triple top here, so 1, 2, 3. And that could end up dumping us down finally. Our stochastic's starting to fall, RSI wants to head up, money flows again into the bearish territory, so it was bullish but didn't manage to maintain and push us up. Our stochastic wants to fall, VWAP is in the bearish territory trying to kind of roll, so if that VWAP can gain some bullish momentum, that might be able to save us, but overall it looks like we could see this down channel have one more leg down. Over on the 2 hour, we have manipulation X's all over that want to bring us down, but they're not having very much success. Stochastic's trying to push down, RSI is trying to push up, money flow is trying to maintain bullish momentum. So if our money flow can maintain bullish momentum on the lower time frames, that could help strengthen the higher time frames to break away from this pattern and break up sooner rather than later. Our momentum does want to push up as our VWAP's trying to break through that neutral. So if that VWAP can break through the neutral and the money flow keeps going like this, our momentum could get a green dot and we could get a push, and that stochastic could push as well. Over on the 1 hour, finally our RSI is heading up, stochastic's ramping up, money flow struggling to maintain bullish momentum and overall inching out, so keep an eye on that, because if that flips bearish, then our other time frames could be in jeopardy. Momentum wants to come up, our VWAP is trying to get a push up, so we are looking decent there, but if the money starts to come out, then everything else is likely to start to roll over. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night. Again, like this video and subscribe if you haven't, and join our Discord.